Hey, entrepreneurs, are you struggling with cash flow or trying to make sense of your business finances? Well, you're going to love my next guest, Carla Titus, who is the powerhouse CFO behind her firm called Wealth and Worth Within. I'm Gale Bates, and I want to welcome you to my channel where I am interviewing entrepreneurs from around the globe who work from home. I'm having so much fun with it. You know, I've had 20 years of experience as a home-based entrepreneur myself, so I do understand the challenges of staying organized and managing your time, kind of those behind-the-scenes things that we do as entrepreneurs. But I'm really fascinated by every entrepreneur that I interview who shares their unique story, full of insights on how they manage their productivity and just keep a balanced life. So if you're ready to learn from those who actually make it happen in this world of entrepreneurship, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to never miss an episode or an upcoming interview. Well, Carla Titus, she is someone who offers fractional CFO services and financial consulting to business owners who want to grow profitably and sustainably. Sustainably is the key, right? She's got a clear mission to empower entrepreneurs with financial clarity and peace of mind, which is something we all need as entrepreneurs who work from home. You know, in our conversation, you're going to hear how Carla breaks down how to manage your cash flow effectively and why having business savings can really be a game changer, not just during slow seasons, but even in times of growth. She really puts it a great way, and I want you to listen to this when she says it. Cash is the oxygen of your business. If you're not feeding it, your business will starve. So we also had a standout discussion on revenue generating activities, which are one of my favorite and important areas that I always work with my client as well. Carla emphasizes the importance of focusing on those RGAs weekly, monthly, and quarterly. She was a girl after my own heart on that. And so if you're ready to take control of your numbers and plan ahead with confidence, this interview with Carla Titus is the one you don't want to miss. Hey, Carla, welcome. Welcome to my series on entrepreneurs who work from home. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
It's lovely to always meet a new friend and someone who's also been in business for quite a long time as well. So I love to kick off this series. We talk a little bit about routines and daily, how does it work for you? What does a typical day look like for you? How do you start your day and structure your day and, minimize and maximize your productivity?
Yeah, I'm actually not a morning person. I know everybody's like, wake up at 5 and do all the things and work out. And then by the time 8 comes around, you've already done half your day. That's not me. And so I'm more of a night owl kind of person. So I actually like slow mornings. Like I like to take my time to drink my coffee, not be bothered by anything or anyone, not have to read emails yet, and then just kind of ease into my day. And then around 9 or 10, I get to my computer, all refreshed because I've taken care of myself first, and I tackle my day. And so my day structure with like morning, and I do theme days instead of doing like everything every day. I try my best, so Mondays we tackle a lot of the admin stuff, getting prepared for the week, getting some client work organized for the week ahead. Yeah. And then, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I'm taking calls. And then on Thursdays, I have more work time. And then I try to keep my Fridays fairly open for creative work, or just if I don't feel like working, I could take a day off. It's nice and sunny outside.
Isn't that great?
But that works well.
Yeah, that's great because as entrepreneurs, we get to do that. We get to choose our hours, right?
Exactly. And, when we are working, we're working really hard and we're very focused and intentional about our time so that we can get through more things quickly with still high quality because our attention and focus is there, but not really be wondering because there's so much you're asked to do as an entrepreneur. You're pulling 200 directions. Everybody needs you. Someone needs something from you. And it's up to you to decide what you prioritize. So lately, I've been actually ignoring my email a lot and doing more focused work because that's really where the value is at. and then
Yeah.
letting my team manage the email side of things. And obviously, if there's
Yeah.
something urgent from a client, that definitely takes priority, and we'll get to that right away.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think you can just get so distracted. And
Yeah.
my job as a CEO is to stay focused and tackle the things that only I, as a CEO, can do that move the needle in the business, that adds value to my business and my clients' businesses.
Yeah. So do you have a large team that you work with?
I do, but I didn't start it like that. So when I first was in business, it was just an assistant and I. And then slowly we built up the team. So we have 3 bookkeepers, and we're about to hire our 3rd CFO to the team. So we have that on the delivery front end, staff. And then we have an analyst on the back end, and we have a whole marketing, podcast manager, social media designer, website designer on the back end to help us, and an attorney who help us, keep everything on track. Yeah. And I couldn't do it without my team.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a team.
It is. Kind of built up one at a time, like, oh, we need this, we should hire for that. We need that, we should hire for that. And then as we grew, our clientele and managed to retain them, because that's important too, we were able to also grow the team alongside.
Right. That's great. And do you have weekly contact? How do you manage the team? How does that work?
Great question. I think that's also evolved over time. When it was just the assistant and I, that was easy, right? But with additional team members, there's a additional need for communication and coordination that wasn't there before. And so managing that has definitely grown in scope. And we assigned some team members to manage parts of the business so that I don't have to be the one doing everything. So I love to delegate. That's like my favorite thing to do. And for those of you who maybe are afraid or terrified of delegating, I am a total control freak. So like for me to be delegating, it just takes a lot of courage, right? But you have to know you can't do it alone, and you can't do everything. You only have 24 hours a day. So if you don't delegate, you will not grow. And so part of that growth came by delegating to people and trusting them and putting processes in place that I know they're following to ensure quality, so that I feel good about delegating. And, they take on that responsibility, and then I check in with them. I have 30-minute check-ins with some of my key, direct reports every week. And then sometimes it's not even, a check-in because we missed it or they're out on vacation or whatever. We'll do it over email or Slack, and just keep the communication open is what I always say. Like if the team needs something, we're there.
And they're all independent entrepreneurs too, right?
Yeah, and they're all over the US. So like we deal with time zones. So that's real. And our clients also are in different time zones because we service everyone across the US. Not always are we coordinating, a time to me, and, that's consistent, but we tried our best to do that. And they're all remote. Before remote was cool.
Right.
And it started that way, and have always honored that flexibility of work, integrating life and managing your household, your family needs with, your business. Yeah.
And so when you work with entrepreneurs, okay, and you help them with their businesses, fiscally, financially, right? Talk to me a little bit about how you manage and work with entrepreneurs and on managing their cash flow to create that stability and that supports the massive action that we need to take as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I don't know if you read the statistics around this, but 82% of businesses fail because they don't manage their cash flow. And that means like literally cash, right? What happens is the timing of cash is never perfect. Nobody thinks to have a reserve built up in their business, like business savings to cover operating expenses, because people pay late. Things happen. Unexpected comes up. And then what you need is to buy yourself some time to be able to respond to the problem, find a solution, put it in place, and let it work. By the time that happens, entrepreneurs run out of money and they're out of business. Right. Yeah. And then they're trying to get loans and things that they are not going to qualify for, because when they need money, that's when the banks don't want to give it to you. So you have to get the money in the good times, be prepared ahead of time. When you don't need it, that's when you want to go apply for those loans and take out, the whatever you need for flexibility, because the business is growing. It demands more cash, and cash is the oxygen of your business. So if you're not feeding it, oxygen is going to starve and then it's going to stop breathing. And then when it stops breathing, it's painful for everyone. All parts of the body stop working, right? So making sure that you have that cash reserve is going to be an important aspect of weathering those ups and downs, because we all have been there, especially if you've been in business for more than a year, the unexpected happens. You get sick, something happens to your operation. operations,
Yeah.
an unexpected expense comes up and you have no way of covering. If you're like literally paycheck to paycheck in your business,
Yes.
you're asking for trouble, and any little crisis that happens will take you out.
Yes.
So cash reserves are critical to ensure the long sustainability of your business.
That's such great advice for entrepreneurs and having that as cash reserves. But, some entrepreneurs, they're creative. They know how to, market. They know how to do all of this, but it's the numbers. It's the numbers that, stall them or stop them. So I know that you work with helping entrepreneurs with the numbers. Can you talk a little? You call it demystifying your numbers to make smart decisions with confidence. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. And, we totally understand where those feelings come from for those business owners that maybe we're like, I'm just not good with money, or I don't really like numbers, right? We all tell ourselves those stories of, it's hard, it's scary, I don't want to look, because then if I ignore it, maybe it goes away. It actually gets worse. So, what we want to do is understand where those feelings are coming from and totally empathize that is valid to feel shame, judgment, feel scared. Those are normal feelings a lot of just people in general, not even business owners, right, have about money, because money is a loaded topic. Right. And sometimes it makes you have to confront some of those feelings when you are working on taking control of your numbers. Right. But the thing I tell business owners is, how do we know if we're making progress if we're not measuring where we're currently at and where we want to be, more importantly? So if we see that there's an issue, we might feel icky about it. We might feel disappointed with our results. We might feel like this is a reflection on us as business owners. It's not. But what you can do as a CEO of your company is you need to pay attention. You need to start getting in tune with what's happening in your business from a numbers perspective. Maybe you can even hire some support in this area to not do it alone, because I know that can be hard and scary at first. Like, I literally was on a call with a client and they're like, I don't want to look at my numbers. I don't know if it's going to be bad. And they actually turned out to be better than she expected, right? Which is crazy that we ignored it for so long, thinking it's going to be terrible. And maybe sometimes you get a pleasant surprise. It's actually better than you thought. And so it's just taking that first step and saying, like, it's okay. We're going to look. We're not going to judge. We're going to start where we're at. And then we're going to create a path to make it better, to improve it. Because now we know what actions we need to take in order to be able to move with confidence, make decisions knowing what the potential outcomes could be, and make sure that we're taking those actions in order to see different results. And then if things are working well and you just had no clue, you just keep doing more of that.
Yeah. I think, and what you're saying is just understand the numbers. If you understand the numbers, that's when you know how you can move forward, how you can set goals. It's really an integral part of your business, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And I think one thing that they don't teach you when you become a business owner, because you do it because you love what you do, what you're good at, right? Not because you want to manage a business and do the numbers and the accounting or finance, is that understanding the numbers and taking control of them could be fun once you get the results you want, right? Like, we are in business to make money and also have an impact, of course. Like, we want to have an impact, but without money, we can't have an impact. So step one, make money, make profit, keep it so that you can do more of what you want to do in the world.
And helping others and serving others.
But if we're ignoring it, how can we get better at it, right?
Yeah.
And how can it be fun if we're not actually making money? Like, we want to get you to that stage where it's fun. You're like, ooh, look at how much profit I made. Now I can do all these things I want to do to help the community.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. So, I talk a lot about revenue generating activities, okay, that help you grow your business. So can you share some strategy on revenue generating activities that you use in your business?
Yes, thanks for asking. I'm so glad you call it that, because we actually say the same thing too. We're like, what are the revenue generating activities that move the needle forward or to move the business forward? Because I think too many times business owners are just literally wasting time on things that don't matter, things that don't make a difference in their business, that are not going to help them grow. And then they wonder why they're not growing. Yeah. Well, are you out there promoting your business? Are you selling every day? Are you making connections? How do you normally get sales is my first questions to them, because they probably don't even know. They're like, well, I don't know. We do like 100 things and only 2 things brings us clients. So we're like, so why are you doing the other 98? And they can't tell me. They can't, right? They can't explain why they're wasting their time doing that. So what we do is we identify what are the revenue generating activities that they're spending their time on that are actually yielding and proven results, not just that they think are going to give them results. That's different.
Yeah. No.
That have proven to give them results. And we say, we're going to do double that activity. So for example, in my business early on, podcast guesting was one of those activities. So if I didn't have a podcast guesting episode on my calendar every month or two or three, then I knew I wasn't spending my time in the right place.
Yeah.
Networking was another one for us. If I wasn't at a networking event in person or online, making connections, working with those referral partners, and I knew I wasn't going to grow my business that month, right? And those things take time, by the way. So don't expect to do them tomorrow and then all of a sudden you got a piled up, line of clients. I wish. It's more like a 30, 60, 90-day cycle. So don't wait. And always, Gale, we have to be doing revenue generating activities every week, every month, every quarter, every year. Because if you don't, even when you don't think you need clients, you should still be going after clients.
Exactly. But I liked your point that don't expect results right away. Okay, because networking or having conversation. I call them having conversations. Making sure you're having conversations. A conversation can lead to business. It can lead to a sale. All of that can lead to a sale, right? I love that you really hit the nail on that. As far as we must be doing that every week. Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes we even allocate budget to do some of these things because maybe you want to do some paid options of this kind of outreach, right? That you don't have to necessarily be the one showing up for it. Maybe you want to run ads. Maybe you want to sponsor something. Whatever that is that works for your business. Those were just examples of free things that we did that helped us. Now we're exploring the paid side too, or the organic side, or, what else can we be doing? And that's where you do test runs and allocate a small amount of money to test it first before you go double down on it. Because I see a lot of business owners just wasting a lot of time too and money. They're like, oh, let's go do this big, and then we do it big and we see what happens. And it's like, no, test it small. If it works, now let's go big, right? So don't start with that.
And it's so important to test it first rather than spend a whole bunch of money and hope it happens, right?
Hope is no strategy. We'll say that here, and measure your results. The thing is that you got to go in with clear expectations of what you want that paid thing to do for you. Even if you're not sure what it can do, have some kind of sense of expectation. What is your ROI, return on investment, and benefit you'll get? And then go measure against the actual results once you have them to see what happened. And then make sure you give yourself some time for those things to work. Like we said, they're not immediate. So you got to be investing 3 to 6 months on those things sometimes for it to even give you a glimpse of what it can do. So I see too often not only wasting money, but also not giving enough time for those strategies to actually pay off and work out for the business.
Oh, I love this. This is a great conversation. And I'm sure entrepreneurs who are listening are getting a lot of information from what you're sharing with us. Well, I'm going to switch things up a little bit right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about workspace setup, okay, for productivity. How have you designed your office for that for yourself?
So I completely built a separate structure in my backyard to set up my office space.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what. It was the best investment I've made in my business in that year because it got me out of the house in the sense that I didn't have a room in the house that was my office. So I got distracted with everything that was happening in the house. Even if you don't want to, if you're trying to focus, it's just natural that you'll hear what's going on. So even if you had a dedicated space inside the house, it just wasn't working for me. And it was between renting a co-working space or like building my own. And I decided to just make the investment. One, I could afford it. I had budget for it. And it literally, I knew it was going to pay off like 10 times because it was going to allow me the space and time to focus. So this is my space where I work out of. When I walk in here, I know we're in working mode. Like Carla shows up to work. We're the CEO. We're going to go do the things we need to go do. And I have a to-do list every week that I craft Monday morning. And I said, these are my top priorities I need to get to. If nothing else gets done, this list needs to be checked off. And the list is not 100 things, by the way. There's only like maybe 5 to 10, 5 extras that I might want to do if I have time. But definitely my top 3 to 5 need to get done, right? And that's anything client work, anything we have to deliver, anything like the team needs that I need as a CEO. And we're always planning ahead. That's the thing. Every week, we're looking 2 weeks ahead to see what's coming up. We're not getting, distracted or shocked if something is not on the schedule because we already know what it is and we're planning for it. And that's just like a good habit as a CEO of a company to always have is, what are you planning for? What's coming up ahead? Naturally, as a CFO, for me, it's just normal to be thinking about the future and planning ahead and being really organized in that, because I have to stay ahead for my clients. And then we do the same for our business. Yeah. And one thing I did early on in my business too is I made myself a client of my own business, because what I noticed was I was forgetting to do all the awesome things we do for our clients around financial tracking and metrics and dashboards for myself. And by making myself a client of my own business, now I was prioritizing me as one of the clients, just like we do the work for everyone else.
Yeah. And do you use like time management techniques or, any kind of other tools that you use in your business to help you with all that?
Yeah, I don't. What I do is I do put slots on my calendar to get work done, because I find that if I don't schedule the time, it probably won't happen. It'll just get filled up with other things. Yeah. So I'll do work slot for this client work slot for this thing that I need to get done, for this project, for, this meeting coming up. We want to have some prep time. So we are building that into the calendar to make sure there's room to tackle everything, that we're never behind and that we're always, working ahead of the schedule. Sometimes, things come up that are unexpected and we'll have to just deal with them. But for the most part, that's kind of how we manage our workload.
And what about tech tools? What kind of tech tools do you use in your business?
Yeah, so we have a lot of workflows and automations on the back end of our business, while we still remain very high touch and very client focused. The human side of our business still intact. We do leverage tools internally to help us track deadlines and, deliverables we need to deliver to our clients and comply with. We do team management out of tools, and we use just like basic communication tools like Slack, ClickUp. We use Zoom for our meetings, and we use a password manager. We have our proposals and CRM, system as well. So we have quite a few systems. They also talk to each other for the most part in an automated way on the back end when someone sets up a call. And we do really good about tracking client notes and things about clients as they come on from the beginning stage when they first reach out to us for a consultation, all the way till like they're onboarded and ongoing. We always keep copious notes on anything the client is going through, and then we can always refer to history in case something comes up that we need to, handle for them. Right.
And do you communicate from them through Zoom? Is that mostly how you communicate with clients?
Yeah. So our client meetings are remote virtually. So we do have them on Zoom, and then we have our financial tracker that we're always, reviewing with them every single call to show them where they're at in their progress and really understanding the metrics and financially where their business is doing well or where there's some need for improvement. And then we make sure that we have that action steps for them to take around things that need to change, decisions that need to be made, and recommendations that we give them as part of being their fractional CFO on the team to help them continue to make progress on those financial metrics.
Such a valuable service you have. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about collaboration. You've talked about how you stay connected with your clients, but how do you stay connected with other people and other businesses?
Yeah, we have a lot of networking events that we do, either virtual or in person. So we always try to be out there in the community networking. And also we have our process where we touch base with all of our referral partners every quarter. So we're staying top of mind, but also seeing if there's any opportunities for collaboration. And a lot of times, someone who I haven't talked to in a while comes up with an idea that they want us to collaborate on, and we're able to partner with them on that and build something that's a win-win situation where maybe we're given some educational content and in turn they're, giving it to their audience, or we're able to promote something for them because we know they have a really strong offering and something our clients need. And so we're always looking for ways to partner. Sometimes we'll highlight them as a feature on our newsletter. So there's, ways that we help promote promote other businesses and support them as well as they help us, do the same. And I think there's such an important aspect around collaboration and partnering. Like, it doesn't have to be hard. You can find people out there who are willing to share and want to collaborate, and then you can partner with them to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Explaining that about the importance of referral partners is part of being an entrepreneur, because you can't sit back and wait for it to come to you. You have to reach out and have those conversations with people every week, right? And I mean, that's how we connected, through another friend, right? Through a referral. Exactly.
Yeah. I think this is where you want to spend your time, right? And making connections, not because you're going to get something out of it, but because you never know what's going to come out of it, and how you might be able to help someone out as much as they're willing to help you out in some way. And I find that most of the time people are very, open to a win-win situation of collaboration of some kind, and everybody's looking to grow their business. So like, that's nothing that, you're hiding behind. Everybody's looking for that. And it's just in ways that you do it that make sense, that align with both business owners.
I agree. What about challenges for you as an entrepreneur? How do you handle challenges? What's your biggest challenges? How do you overcome them?
Biggest challenges have been growing. Growing is painful. I think people don't tell you about scaling. It's like all the systems you're going to have to upgrade and redo processes and systems that worked before. And now, when you have so many people, they don't work anymore and you have to redo them. And you're like, but I already did that. Yeah. And I think with every person, with every year of growth, there's just always a challenge of adjusting to that growth. And I can't imagine if you're growing even faster than that, what it looks like, when you're scaling quickly. But being gracious about tackling that, I always tell my team and communicate to them, we're doing the best we can. And that if you find a hole in something, let's fix it. It's no big deal. We will tackle it. But most important to me has always been maintaining our high quality on delivery and to our clients, no matter what's going on, right? So even if we're growing, even if we're hiring, it doesn't matter. Our clients come first because they pay the bills. They're the most important thing for us outside of our team, of course, because they're just as important. We have to keep them, happy, retain them, make sure that they have what they need to be successful, because that's what they're paying us to do. So we can't neglect them. So don't do that. If you're losing clients on the back end, go focus on retention. That's always key for us. And there's been times we've had challenges, luckily not financial ones. Fortunately, I have that skill. So that helps a lot, which is, can solve a lot of problems, to be honest, right? Because if you have a cash, reserve, like we spoke at the beginning and things like that, you don't have to worry about that. But, there's been invoice mistakes and system issues. And we handle it as transparent, as graciously as we can, especially if it's in front of a client. We just want to be very honest about what happened, say, here's what we're doing to fix it. We apologize. And then we, make the best of it. And some clients are like, great, no problem. And some are like, oh, okay, that was tricky. And so we lead with honesty, and we find that's our policy. And no matter if that causes more issues, unfortunately, that's just how we do business, with integrity. And we're not willing to deviate from that. And same with our team, things happen, someone has to be out, someone has an emergency. We just have to deal with it. And we will always have challenges, is how I see businesses will always have challenges. It's how you choose to respond to them and how you craft a path forward that's more important.
That is such good advice for people, because it does happen. We all have challenges, all kinds of different challenges, and we just have to deal with them. And I love that way that you described that. So tell me a little bit about your professional development. What do you do? Do you have a podcast yourself? Is that correct?
We're working on it.
You're working on it. Okay, got it. But what do you do for professional development? What do you like to do? And what do you do that really helps you in your business for professional development?
Yeah. So we're always trying to stay in tune with what trends and things are happening in our industry. As CFOs, it's important that we understand, how tools can be utilized, what's available, what's changing in the market. I think overall, the foundational concepts don't really change. It's how you apply them that tends to change depending on the trends and things that we're seeing. I try to read the news and stay on top of the economy, seeing like what might be coming, affecting our clients, preparing for that ahead of time so they can sleep at night and know that, we're on it. I talk to a lot of other CFOs that are in my field that are, handling clients and like, what are they up to and what's going on or some issues they're seeing. And they tend to be the same thing that we see, except for the industry piece of this, that we do very specialized areas and maybe they don't. And then we, test out tools. We have tried every tool out there and like say, is this a good fit for our clients and what we do and how we do it? And if we say no, at least we know it exists. We're aware. We know that we have tried to implement it and use it and it didn't really work for us, or what's the downside of it. So we could also share with, clients when they ask. And then especially with AI and technology developments lately, there's been a lot of things coming up. And the way that we think about AI, it's like we're going to use it, but first we're going to protect privacy for our clients and the data and things that they have that we want to keep confidential. To us, that's super critical. And so even though I know it's trendy and everybody's doing it, we proceed with caution. I was in tech for 11 years in corporate before, so I just know a little too much. And I'm very, very cautious with adopting tools and making sure our clients are aware of like the downside as well as the upside that it has. And we try to use things in a way that's discreet or private for our clients' sake to keep that confidentiality, because we just don't want that all out there. And I think it could save us a ton of time, but to us, it's important to keep the human connection and touch of the work that we do. Yeah. Because that sometimes is more valuable to our clients than just using the AI tool everyone else is using, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know that we talk a lot about high tech, high touch, right? And it's important to have that balance with it. Yeah.
Definitely.
And, like any books that you like to read or podcasts you listen to that would help other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I'm all about the podcast. I have like a whole listening list that circulates all the time. Like I would have to like get you a whole list because there's like a lot of them. But some of them are even not in my industry. Like I like to listen to just like even money podcasts around psychology of money, because a lot of the issues we bring to our business around money are not about the numbers. It's about how we feel about money. And so even understanding that really helps me guide our clients. And then things like, real estate, investing or working towards financial independence, to me, those are important too, as well as, some other CFO podcasts, because I can see what is top of mind and topics that they're discussing, with their audience. One I'm really like enjoying right now is financial self-care. And this is a money podcast with a therapist who specializes in psychology of money, which I think is fascinating because a lot of the traumas and things we bring, good or bad, from our childhood to money kind of come up in our business. And it's not something we invited to the table, but it's definitely leading the way sometimes in how we think and what we do in our business with money. If you struggle to keep money and save it, maybe there's something that you brought from your personal life into your business that's not really working for you that we need to address, right? And that's where we're not therapists, we don't do that, but we have ways to give resources to our clients to go explore that further with the right professional, and then come back and address some of the just high level money mindset things that get in being a good entrepreneur and managing money well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So if you could share with another or with all these entrepreneurs that are watching, one piece of advice, one small piece of advice that, that they could learn from your experience, what would it be?
It's important to get perspectives in your business from other people, but ultimately you as the owner, CEO need to know what's right for your business, because people will have opinions and your family will have opinions. Your coach will have opinions. Your peers will have opinions. And at the end of the day, I feel like when I've taken advice that didn't really resonate with how I run my business or what I wanted to do, it just felt off. And I could tell, right, that I was forcing myself in that direction. And I know what's right for my business, for my clients. I'm not saying I know it all. I'm just saying like, I know what works best. So I will take the advice, filter it through my own internal like compass and say, yes, that works, but it works in this way for my business, for what we do. Because I feel like there's so much advice, cookie cutter advice out there, and people are not asking about the context behind that advice. First of all, like, does it apply in this kind of business for this type of industry for like what I'm trying to do? They're just taking it and running with it, which sometimes does not work depending on your business model. And I felt like that gut instinct and like filter has never failed me. And then also being open to receiving new ideas and advice is important too.
I love that. And what you're basically saying is listen to your gut, right? Really listen.
But pair it with data, because that serves me well. It's helpful when you have the data to validate kind of what you're feeling in your gut, right? But definitely make sure that it feels right and it sits well, and then go look at the data to make sure it's true, what you're feeling or thinking.
Yeah. Well, you would be great to help to look at that data. That is for sure.
Yes, we can help with that part.
Okay, and that leads me to, I want you to now share with us a little bit about what you do in your business. Share with us where people can connect with you. If you have any free resources that you want to share, and we will put all of that in the description below.
Yeah, so we are a fractional CFO, so Chief Financial Officer. So we come into the business to partner with the CEO as the business partner with the finance knowledge and expertise to help them really set up processes and systems to better manage their cash flow as one of the items, right? As well as their overall financial strategy of the business, set the right direction. If you don't like what you're seeing today and you think you should be more profitable, you want to pay yourself more, you want to have those bank cash reserves that we spoke about, that's where you partner with a CFO like us to help you map out what is the plan to get to that point where you have those things you want to see, and then track and monitor that performance as we're taking those action steps to get us to that plan that we created together around what's possible around your business, and open up the possibilities and opportunities that maybe you didn't think about that your business could do, and explore those together. So we become that advisor, financial business partner to help you really craft what's next in your business as you continue to grow and scale and want to be more profitable. And we have free resources on our website at wealthworthwithin.com. We have a free newsletter. Anyone can sign up for that. We put out content around what's top of mind with our clients. What are we working with them on? What are some financial trends to watch out for? What are some things that maybe you're concerned about and you're not sure what to do with it? So that is completely free. We also have a blog post. And if you're looking for a CFO for your business, you can sign up for a free consultation on our website. Let's get started on working with us. And it's completely free. So unless we are the right support for your business and you think we're the right support for your business, we won't move forward on that unless you're the right fit. We're the right fit for that. And then we put out a lot of content on social media. So make sure to follow us at Wealth Worth Within, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Okay, great. Well, we will be putting all of that information in the description below. And Carla, this has just been a delight to talk with you today. I really enjoyed listening to you and understanding, how important it is to understand the numbers, know where you're at in your business. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was a great conversation. I hope a lot of you who are listening take action on even just one thing to make sure your business makes progress on the financial side and you see the results you want to see.
Love it. Great. Are you feeling a little bit more confident about understanding the numbers in your business? Or are you someone who says, I hate numbers, I don't want to do numbers at all? Well, Carla is someone who truly brings a wealth of knowledge and clarity to this conversation about the numbers. Wouldn't you agree? I was especially inspired by her perspective on collaborations and the power of referral partnerships. I just wrote about her pitch to me in my latest newsletter, which you can sign up for below, on how she was referred by one of my last interviewees. I love that Carla emphasizes building strong financial foundations, and that goes hand in hand with building strong relationships. And what about her standout advice for entrepreneurs? Stay open to new ideas. Listen to guidance, but always adapt it to fit your unique path and goals. So, are you ready to take your business finances seriously and understand those numbers? I want you to check out Carla's website and connect with her within the description below. I hope you're enjoying these interviews as much as I am and gaining valuable insights along the way, because I can't wait to bring you the next one. I'll see you on the next video.